Welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday show. I am your host, Luci McMonagle. Women are recreating the rules for business, leadership, money, and they are changing the world in the process. Each week, join me for empowering messages and interviews that will inspire, motivate, and transform you. Giving a special shout out to Gordon Weary for creating the custom music that you are listening to now. Now, let's get started. Hey, this is Luci McMonagle, and today I am so incredibly excited that you are listening to the Wealthy Wednesday show. We have an incredible guest, and she is going to help you with so many different aspects. Her name is Nadia Brown, and she is authentic, bold champion for business owners. So if you're a business owner, which I know you are because this is the Wealthy Wednesday show and that's who we cater to, make sure you grab a pen and you grab a paper. If you are driving, please don't grab the pen and paper. You want to make sure that you drive safe, but listen and take mental notes. Nadia is the founder of Doyenne Leadership Institute, LLC, and through her trainings and intensives, she helps women break the glass ceilings they encounter in business by helping them build profitable and sustainable businesses. When it comes to sales, women come a little bit more timid. They become a little bit more shaky, and she helps you with strategies. She helps you become stronger, more bolder, and more importantly, helps you sell with heart. Because as a woman entrepreneur, we know that you want to make the world a better place. She is also the author of Leading Like a Lady, How to Shatter the Inner Glass Ceiling, and lives with her husband Toby in Phoenix, Arizona. So you can find out more about her upcoming events at the DoyenneLeadership.com/events. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Nadia. Dr. Nadia, welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday show.
Thank you, Lucy. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. And you are such a hero in so many women's lives. You have created this incredible institute that empowers women and trains women up so that they can truly break through that glass ceiling. Could you tell us a little bit, how did you get started? And what were you doing before starting to provide sales training and support to women?
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question.
That's a loaded double question too.
I started my career after undergrad actually as an engineer. So at one point, I literally worked in a basement. I was a computer engineer, did software support and all that good stuff. And through the years, just kind of, I was never in that place. So I always saw myself as a career girl. Never in a million years thought I would be an entrepreneur. And so when I started out, my vision was to help women really lead from a place of authenticity, but lead from a place of femininity. Because, being in an environment where it's mostly men, you kind of take on your environment, but it doesn't fit. And there are studies that show that men nor women respond favorably to women who try to lead like men. It's just like, that didn't work. But how do you lead in a way that's authentic and powerful and effective? And so that's where I started. But I quickly learned that while passion is a great reason to start a business, that's not what pays the bills. That's not what builds the business. And I was in this place in my own business where I was helping women. I had the book. I was traveling. On social media, things look great. But I had this dirty little secret, and it was I struggled with sales. That fear of rejection was really holding me back. And through my own personal journey of being able to overcome that fear, that was how I got started in helping other women overcome that fear as well.
Wow. So you look great on paper. You look great on social media. Everything looks like you're really rocking the world, but you're terrified of sales.
Terrified.
Ooh, wow. Can you tell us a few tips on how you got over that fear of those sales calls?
Whew. Well, the first thing, and I tell women, there are two things that have to happen. One, you have to make a decision. I had come to a place in my business where there was a decision to be made. Either I deal with it, I figure it out, I face the fear, or I just throw in a towel and go back and get a job. And there's nothing wrong with that, but those are the choices I gave myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm not a quitter, not going out like that. Let's figure it out. And so I made that commitment to really start to figure out what I needed to do to overcome it. And I learned that it's more than just skills. You can learn skills, but the biggest part was right here. It was that fear, that mental idea I had around sales that was really holding me back. And so I encourage women. The second thing is to get in action, to start talking to people, to really just put yourself out there. And I know it sounds so scary to say, okay, I'm going to go out and, talk to people and invite them to work with me. But in doing that, I realized that all the ideas that I had around sales weren't accurate. They were wrong. I was lying to myself. And I realized it's just like what we're doing now, having a conversation. And through that conversation and really that realization, I was like, any woman can do this. We can do this. And so that's what I encourage women to do. Just get out there, keep doing it, facing that fear monster, because eventually you'll realize, like I did, that it's not nearly as bad as we've created it to be in our heads.
Wow. Wow, that is so true. And what were some of the lies that you actually believed about the sales conversation?
I think one of the biggest ones, Lucy, was that I had to be sleazy. I had to lie and be manipulative in order to get people to work with me. And I didn't want to do that. I started my business because I was passionate about helping women. And so it just felt counterintuitive to then say, I want to help you and yet manipulate you into work. Like that just didn't go well. And so that misalignment for years, like this was a multi-year problem that, it's like, wait a second. And when I realized that I don't have to do that, I can serve women, I can build a successful business, and I don't have to lie or manipulate anyone. And that was a major breakthrough for me.
That is a major breakthrough. And so many women who are in the entrepreneurship field, or they start this business because they have this passion. They want to do better. They want to have a bigger impact on the world, or maybe they want to have a bigger impact on their family, so that maybe their husband doesn't have to work so hard, or maybe they don't have to be in a job that they miss their children's soccer, or they miss all of those crucial moments that could be memories because they have to work overtime, or they have to do this, or they have to do that. So what are some of the greatest mistakes that you might have made in your entrepreneurship, or what are some of the greatest mistakes that your clients make?
I think they're probably one and the same. I think one of the biggest mistakes is thinking that we can hide and still build. And hiding looks a lot of different ways for people. So for me, hiding looked like, let me just find all the ways to automate my business, and leverage social media and these things that were, for me personally, are great tools. But I'm a people person. Like, I love to speak in person. I love to be in the room with people. Those are things that I love, but I wasn't necessarily using those. And I love to have the conversation. I like getting to know people with sales conversations. And so I think that was the biggest thing, was just like, let me do all these other things because those feel easier to me to build a business. And yet you find that you're building a business you don't love. So now you're really in a conundrum. It's like, this may be working, but now I don't love what I'm building. And so again, as you know, being an entrepreneur is a lot of hard work. So to build something you don't love, it's like, seriously, I could easily go get a job and be paid very well to do something I don't love. So I think those are some of the big mistakes. I would say another mistake, Lucy, is being afraid to just be vulnerable. To really just say, you know what? my business is a hot mess right now. Like when I really got to that point, I wasn't sure who I could talk to and just say, this isn't working. You know, no matter how things may seem, it's really, really bad. And I'm afraid. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Like there were just all these emotions around being in that position. And then realizing that that's actually part of the process. Like part of the process is that sometimes you try things and they don't necessarily work out. But I don't think we talk about it enough sometimes in our entrepreneurial circles, that it's going to be okay. And so when I found someone, I was like, this is where I am. I'm not sure how to move past this, and to be able to kind of talk about it, put together a game plan, and then come out of hiding. Because I literally just wanted to go into a corner and just ball up and just stay there. Like, I'm done. I just want to join the witness protection program. And just, let's just start over with a new identity. Like none of this ever happened. And it's like, you know what? I think part of what really helps build our strength is to be able to pick up and move on. And, now obviously I talk about it. Like that was a very, very tough period. And especially with social media, or the fact that I'm a speaker. So I'm in a very visible place to then, to be out and about. And how do I talk about this season of my business where things are a mess? And I'm yet encouraging women to shatter your inner glass ceiling and face your fear. And how do I even talk about this irrational fear that I myself had around, sales and what that meant?
Wow. Well, that is so true. And a lot of times, in my opinion, we actually teach our greatest weaknesses so that we overcome our weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a forward moving or a fail forward moving motion sometimes, where you try this, or you try that, and you're going here and you're going there, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, my business is a hot mess. and I thought I was moving forward, and the systems have failed me. Mm-hmm. Because I was hiding behind my systems. I was hiding behind the camera or the computer or the social media or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, then there's always this crucial point where you make that decision. Once you actually realize that I have to change.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's power. That is power right there. Is every single thing begins with a decision.
Definitely. And I share, a lot of times with women, and when I teach, that something really beautiful, like one of the biggest blessings for my business was birthed out of that, because I had to face it so I can, a lot of times people that meet me now on this side don't realize what I went through. And I tell them, I didn't wake up like this, people. Like I really went through a season where I hated sales. I hated talking about it. I didn't want to deal with the money. Like I don't know how to make the money, but it just should magically appear. Because I'm doing what I love, and isn't that how this works? And it's not quite how it works. So, but now it really created this brand new opportunity for me to help other women, and to be able to truly come from a place of, I get it, I get you, and I can support you in moving through this. And if I can do it, you can do it.
Oh, absolutely. And that's seeing other people's success stories like that, and having them show you, this is how I sometimes crawled through it. This is how I was able to walk on glass or eat fire or whatever it takes. But the decision is first. And then, what would you recommend for individuals who are struggling, who have that fear paralysis?
I would recommend, one, to just give yourself some grace. Like, the fear of rejection is real. And I probably said this. So if you've ever heard me say it, or you hear some recording in the past, forgive me, to not take it personal, because especially in our businesses, a lot of times it is very personal. And whether or not people mean it personally, it often dredges up things that are very personal and near and dear to us that may have happened to us in our past. And so those feelings are real. And so one of the things that I just tell people is just give yourself some grace and don't allow yourself to stay stuck. Like knowing that you can move through it and take those baby steps. And so I encourage people. I often do 100 no's challenge. And over 30 days, I work with clients and let's go out and let's get into those conversations. Because in order for most of us to get 100 no's, we have to have more than 100 conversations. And for many entrepreneurs, if you were to have more than 100 conversations in 30 days, like that's total game changer for your business. And to get out there and just to talk to people. And most clients are like, oh my gosh, Dr. Nadia, 100. So they get stuck. But once they are in it and they start doing it, the most fascinating thing happens. Luci, most people never come back and say, gee, Dr. Nadia, I got 100 no's. You know what they say? Two things. One is, oh my heavens, I have so many new clients. I got so many yeses, right? And the other one is, I will never look at no the same way again, because no is just a part of the journey. It's what helps gets us to our yes and to our destination. And so I think that would be my advice. Make the decision that I'm going to face this fear. I'm going to do it even if my knees are trembling, and to get into action.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Now you mentioned a lot of times you send people out on a 100 no challenge in 30 days. When you send people out on that challenge, and I'm going to ask, maybe some of the audiences may listen to this who might want to take up on that challenge. Do they just talk to people at the grocery store? Do they talk to people in public? Where do you get the 100 no's?
Oh my gosh, it depends. So in the Courage Diary, which now we have two versions, there's the mini Courage Diary, and now we have an expanded one. But in the mini one, I have a quick checklist, because that's the first question. Like, okay, all right, Dr. Nadia, I hear you. And where the heck am I going to find 100 plus people to talk to in 30 days, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I tell people, start with your cell phone. There's so many people in your cell phone, whether they're right or they may know someone who's right for your product, your service, and be willing to ask the question, who do you know? Like, we can call anyone and say, well, who do you know that fits this demographic? And then there's a whole list of things. Facebook Lives, do a Facebook Live. Your call to action, schedule time to meet with me. Make it easy. I have an get you a vanity URL. If there's ever time to get a vanity one, this is it. Mine is meetwithdrnadia.com. It's easy to say, and it redirects to my calendar, and people can schedule time to meet with me. Get out and speak, network. There's so many things that we can do. And it's fun to just start to brainstorm, like, who can I talk to and how can I leverage this? Your referral partners. There's so many different ways that we could do it. My first time I did this, like, serious, I was at a crossroads in my business, another shift, right? Because we don't just have one. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, Nadia, I know what to do. And it was like, you just got to get into action. So I literally went through my phone, over 100 names just from my cell phone of people I could call who I either thought were a good fit for my core offer, or who I thought might know someone who was a good fit for my core offer. And that's how I got started.
Wow. I absolutely love that. I really, really love that.
And most of us have over, I think the average is 700-ish friends on Facebook. Where are you doing all those Facebook friends?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of individuals have at least, I have almost 5,000. I have to keep cleaning my list up so I can have more people that are active as friends. Invite me. So they should not limit your friends on Facebook.
They shouldn't. You could be like, talk to me or I'm deleting you.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. I love the challenge that you're talking about. And it is so empowering to really understand that it's just a process of getting to yes. No doesn't mean it's something personal. It doesn't mean it's you personally. They're not saying no to you. Right now, they're just not in a situation to accept the offer that you're offering. And it might be no, but I know somebody else.
Yep.
It might be no, and I would like to introduce you to my friend. It might be no, and don't call me back. But then they see you going and making more and more progression, and then they see more and more people getting more and more results. And then they're like,
On second thought, right?
yeah, on a second thought, after I've seen you actually take off with this, now my no is starting to become a maybe, or my no still no, and I know somebody now that I didn't know before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it could be no, not this, but what else do you have?
Exactly.
I get that one a lot. I don't want to do that, but what else do you have? Let's do that. Just never know.
Mm-hmm. And I've had something similar for me also, where they weren't ready for this program, but then when I was talking about some other things, they're like, oh yeah. And I've done that to other people. It's like they would talk to me and they're like, tell me about this stuff, and I'm like, that doesn't fit in my, if it doesn't fit in my goal or my missions, then I won't accept it. But then I find out they do this other stuff, and I'm like, oh well, that might fit into my mission, so let's talk more.
Yep.
So, but the conversation would have never started if they didn't reach out to me.
Absolutely. And that there is the key.
Yes. Exactly. So I have just a couple of more questions, and the time is going so fast.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, it does. It does. So the first question is do you have some kind of favorite quote or favorite saying for the individuals when they are going through that fear factor?
One of the quotes that I fall back on all the time was from my granny. And she always said, anything worth having is worth fighting for.
That's true.
And so when I think about my vision, like you said, and my mission, it's like, you know what, Nadia, if you want this, that means it's worth fighting through the fear and even the possible rejection to get what it is that you want.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. And I actually really resonate well with that, because a lot of times I'm like, how badly do I want to impact the world? And it's like I can almost taste it.
Right.
and then I'm looking at, oh, I've got this list of people who I can call, and then it's like, how badly, and it's like all of a sudden you just do it. You just make that decision because it's worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
Wow. And then you mentioned the Courage Diary. That sounded pretty interesting on what it takes to really get on the sales call. So can you tell us a little bit, what is this diary designed for, and how can individuals access it?
This was birthed, you know, those things it says if it's not managed, or if it's not measured, it's not managed, or whatever that crazy quote is, right? But it's true. And so one of the things I think sometimes that we do, especially as entrepreneurs and in sales, is if we're not careful, we only measure our quote unquote success by the number of yeses that we get. We don't really measure our success by the amount of times that we put ourselves out there. We had the courage to pick up the phone and make the ask. And so the Courage Diary is the tracker. It tracks the number of times that you picked up the phone and you reached out to someone and you talked to them, whether you initiated the conversation or they scheduled time to meet with you. But really, you know, what did it take, and how many times did you do that, and celebrate that. And so you may have heard me mention, like, now we have two versions. So you can grab a complimentary copy, totally free, at couragediary.com. And that'll really help you to get started on, all right, let's do it. Let's face this. Let's get out there. Let's pick up the phone. Let's talk to people. Let's meet people for coffee chats, whatever it takes to do that. But you know how these ideas start to expand. So now there's an expanded version that is actually for sale, and it takes you through it. It has a few more extra tools and resources for those people that are like, you know what, Dr. Nadia, I'm doing this. And there are additional things that we can track because there's a lot of additional information that you can get. What's a popular program? You know, what are some things that you may be able to adjust in your conversation and make it stronger? All of that is very valuable information to just help you, because it's a habit that I want people to create. Whether it's 5 conversations a week, whatever that is, to really get in that habit to always stay connected. Not always be closing, but always be connecting and being willing to pick up the phone, whether it's your former clients, referral partners, peers, just stay connected, because that's a big difference maker for growing your business.
That's a huge difference maker. Wow. So ladies, and gentlemen, I know we have some cool guys who listen to this. Get your courage diary.
Yes.
Get up some courage. It's couragediary.com. Real simple to remember. couragediary.com. And really start looking at, let's have a little challenge here. Let's find out how many conversations can you start creating with individuals, not necessarily looking at the no, looking at the connection, and make a game out of it. How many times can you pick up the phone? How many times can you do a little Facebook Live? It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be super posh. People want to see the authentic you.
Yep.
And sometimes we fumble, sometimes we fall, but we fail forward always.
Yes.
Wow. Dr. Nadia Brown, this has been so phenomenal. I just love saying your whole name, by the way, because I feel like I'm in the presence of the goddess. And you have really inspired me. I'm going to take the challenge, the courage challenge too. So I would love it if you would tell people if they can get a hold of you on Facebook, so they can, track the results and give you a little message, or how can they get a hold of you in addition to the couragediary.com?
Oh, absolutely. You can catch me. I am Dr. Nadia. That's me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Made it easy for you to stay connected. And yeah, once you download the Courage Diary, you'll be part of my community. So you'll start to get some updates on different things that we're doing. The next time I have an actual live challenge that we go through together. And like Luci said, to make a game of it, like people really get excited. And I celebrate with clients. They text me now, Luci. They're like, oh my gosh, I closed the deal. I got a new client. Right? We're all like doing a happy dance. Because, yeah, once you get out there, it's a total game changer. So even clients, they're like, I don't know why I'm having this call. Just had that conversation yesterday. I had a call and client said yes. New client. It was worth it.
Awesome. That is so fabulous. I love that. And I really love the fact that there's so many women who are smashing up against the glass ceiling because they have this big, huge monster fear that it's something personal. It's not. It's not about you.
Oh my gosh, I say that all the time about sales. It's not about you. Don't make it about you. And I get we're human. We have emotions. And so that's definitely something I invite women to pay attention to. What are those emotions that threaten to derail you in those conversations and ultimately your business? To pay attention to that.
Exactly. So thank you, Nadia, for being on the Wealthy Wednesday show. And I want to thank my audience, too, for listening. I hope you had a phenomenal time taking down notes and really starting to get some good, juicy tips. And please remember to like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Wealthy Wednesday Show. And also send me a little hello on Facebook and let me know that you are taking the challenge.
Yay!
So until next time, abundant blessings.
Thank you for listening to the Wealthy Wednesday Show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle. I am the Mystic Wealth Creator, a mentor for conscious women entrepreneurs, helping them create more freedom in their business through conscious wealth creation. I would love to extend to you a free gift And all you need to do is go to my website at lucimcmonagle.com. That's LuciMcmonagle.com to get your free gift. So until next time, abundant blessings.